Thank you for watching this video. To help keep PRAGERU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Excuse me, conservative Otto. I can't help but notice you say to help keep Prager videos free, yet in the same video you said nothing is truly free. Very curious.
All right, the number 13 most viewed PragerU video as of this moment is Denmark Socialist. As we know, this one's going to be a real intellectual powerhouse. Really irrefutable arguments brought forth from Prager University, the most prestigious... the most prestigious intellectual institution defending Western civilization today. Let's do it. And a 1 and a 2 and a cuckoo-cuckoo.
I'm a citizen of Denmark, the Disneyland of socialism.
Hell yeah.
Where everybody is happy and healthy. Forget the Soviet Union, Cuba, Venezuela, and all those power-mad Marxists who got it wrong.
Good. Forget the Soviet Union. Forget them all.
Denmark is a model to follow.
Base.
There's just one problem. It's a fantasy.
Is he telling me Denmark's not real? Denmark is a fantasy?
For it to be true, Denmark would have to be a socialist country.
I always knew Denmark wasn't real, like the Yellowstone, or the moon, or representative democracy.
But it's not. If it were, it would have gone Venezuela a long time ago. Sorry to bring all the new fans of socialism the bad news, but that's the reality.
Okay, I don't disagree with any of this so far. Let's keep going.
It's true that Denmark has high taxes and a high level of government spending. Key features of a socialist mentality.
No. Well, maybe, but no. Socialist mentality, that's a new one. He didn't say his name. What's his name? Otto Brons Peterson. Otto? I'll just call you Otto, because that's easier for my American brain. Easier for my socialist mentality American brain. Okay, high taxes, high level of government spending are key features of a socialist mentality. This is the first I've heard the phrase socialist mentality. Wouldn't a better statement or argument here be key features of socialist states? Because if you're going to talk like Venezuela, Soviet Union, and Cuba, a little more direct and to the point, to say that it's a feature of states, not necessarily a mentality. This isn't even mentioning the fact that this isn't socialism.
Well, actually, socialism is supposed to be workers owning the means of production.
I get that it's convenient to just redefine things to however you want and then accuse your opponents of doing that, but that kind of means your arguments fall apart when we look at them closely, which I suspect this guy's will. But okay, let's hear him out. Let's hear where this goes.
But in almost every other respect, Denmark is a full-on free market capitalist country, and it has some of the strongest protection of individual property rights in the world.
Okay.
It's a particularly easy place to open a business.
Yeah, this is all fine. This is all good. The definition of socialism that I would use, which is like the classical, the textbook sense, not Soviet Union. None of this is socialism. But in the definition he used, this isn't socialism either.
High level of government spending. Key features of a socialist mentality. According to the World Bank, there's less bureaucratic red tape in Denmark than in any other country, except for New Zealand and Singapore.
And none of that is socialism, even by your own definition, though. That's just like free market, low regulation.
The labor market is less regulated than in most countries.
Are we going to get some good examples of this?
Here's something you probably didn't know. There are no minimum wage laws in Denmark.
Okay, this is true. What he neglects to tell you, more than 70% of Danish wage earners are members of a trade union. You know what that means, right? Unions advocate for minimum wage for all the people, not just working in the union, but for the people working in the industry. He's correct. There are no minimum wage laws. De facto, there's gonna be a minimum wage because of the broader influence of unions. This happens in a lot of other Scandinavian countries, which I've noticed these people never mention that when they talk about minimum wage laws. Denmark. None. Instead, negotiated between unions and employer associations. The average minimum wage for all private and public sector collective bargaining agreements was approximately Danish krone 110, about $16 per hour. I noticed that that's never brought up. So that's the only example of there's no regulation on the labor market we get, is they have no minimum wage. Oh, that's a weak example, my guy, Otto.
Then. Or maybe it is surprising, given all the misinformation out there, that Denmark ranks consistently as one of the top-ranked free market economies in the world by the Fraser Institute in Canada and the Heritage Foundation.
Don't cite the Heritage Foundation at me. Top-ranked free market economies in the world. That term really is kind of a weasel term.
So if Denmark is not a socialist country, what is it? The answer is pretty straightforward. It's a small capitalist country, about the size and population of Maryland,
I don't know why this is relevant.
whose citizens pay oodles in taxes in exchange for oodles in benefits.
Oodles? Oodles and taxes in exchange for oodles and benefits. Which is a fancy way of saying nobody dies because they can't afford their insulin.
Well, what's wrong with that, you might ask? Only this. For the government to pay out such benefits, you need citizens to make enough money to pay the necessary taxes. And that's only possible through a free market economy.
They keep saying that, but I've never really seen anything to justify that. I understand you want to make money from taxes. Okay, this makes sense. I don't see the connection between that and their definition of a free market economy. When they say free market economy, it's used very loosely and often could mean 100 different things depending on what they want it to mean during that particular sentence. I think like the most consistent definition for them, it's like low regulation or no low taxes. In my mind, it's just it's not a centrally planned economy, and that's a free market economy. He didn't define free market either. He didn't really define socialism. Although he might be getting to it. They never define socialism, though. High taxes, high government spending. That's not socialism.
Let me explain with some Danish history.
Explain it to me.
Denmark, like its Scandinavian neighbors, Sweden and Norway, made a remarkable economic recovery after the Second World War.
Well, yeah, because they didn't see the bulk of the fighting. Wait a minute. One of these countries was independent during the Second World War. Hold on. Yeah, Sweden remained neutral throughout the war, while Finland initially sided with Germany. Yeah,
the combination of a highly productive workforce and, get this, low taxes created a lot of wealth.
Guess what? Most nations did better after the Second World War because they weren't fighting each other. They weren't dying. Turns out that helps.
So, like every other wealthy welfare state, Denmark became wealthy before it created the welfare state. Relative to Europe,
okay, sure, fine.
Relative to Europe, Denmark's economic high water mark was in the 1950s. Relative to the US, it was in the early 70s.
I don't know what that means.
Then, in the late 60s and early 70s, that the country's ruling elite became preoccupied with wealth redistribution.
So, what the fuck does that mean? This is some cultural Marxist conspiracy bullshit. What the fuck?
But the price paid for this social experiment,
oh no, I don't like where this argument is going,
was steep and swift. The expansion of public spending led to a severe economic crisis. The national debt skyrocketed. It took decades of consolidation, structural reforms, and curtailing of welfare schemes to straighten out this mess.
I feel like he's leaving out a few decades of history here and just kind of glossing over it really quick. The national debt skyrocketed and they had an economic crisis. And what happened? We don't get an answer. Trust me, it happened. It was bad. I'm an American. I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
It took decades of consolidation, structural reforms, and curtailing of welfare schemes to straighten out this mess.
It feels like the argument here is, what? Cut welfare? I don't know. He doesn't tell me.
This is the stuff you never hear about from the Danish model crowd.
Well, I'm here asking about it, and I'm not getting it. I could Google it, but I'm not gonna. Who have we got here? Is this Bernie Sanders? Are these hipsters?
The sharp tax hikes and spending also sparked a widespread popular revolt and led to the emergence of the tax protesters party, Fremskridtspartiet.
I mean, we get that here. They're called everybody. So I didn't do this on stream, but I just pulled up the party that he mentioned. In the late 1970s, its agenda was the gradual abolition of the income tax, the disbandment of most of the civil service, the abolition of the diplomatic service, and the scrapping of 90% of all legislation. The Progress Party was founded by tax lawyer Mogens Glistrup. I would like to formally apologize to the country of Denmark. In 1972, as a tax protest, the party's initial issues keywords were less bureaucracy, abolition of the income tax, and simpler law paragraphs. Progress Party seats in parliament fell to 20 in 1979. The party started to turn its attention on immigration, having added a Mohammedan-free Denmark as one of its declared goals in 1980. Glistrup increasingly made comments about Muslims and used the slogan to make Denmark a Muslim-free zone. Alright. It's just funny that PragerU brings this party up and doesn't mention any of that. Gee, I wonder if we've had a similar political movement in the United States that starts out wanting less taxes, but is really just a front for a really, really racist and toxic ideology. I wonder if that's ever happened before. I'm talking about the Tea Party. That's all I got. I just wanted to add that.
Even though the party no longer exists, the widespread desire to cut taxes remain. It's worth noting that the welfare state originally began with government pension payments to the elderly. These social security-like payments are now in the process of being overtaken by private pension savings plans, the Danish equivalent to a 401k.
Sounds like a bad idea to me.
In reality, Denmark is gradually moving away from US-style social security.
This is a low blow, but maybe if they weren't cutting your benefits, your welfare and healthcare, maybe you could have this gap in your teeth fixed. I can say that. My teeth are all crooked. It's my fault for having Marfan syndrome in the first place.
In reality, Denmark is gradually moving away from US-style social security. It can't afford it.
Bullshit. Never let anyone tell you that we can't afford Social Security. Social Security is something you pay into. It's something that pays out. You pay into it, it's your damn money, and it comes back to you. That's a simplification of it, okay? But, oh, we can't afford it. No, that's just greedy fucking fat cats in the government who want to take your damn money from you. Take your money that you earned and you already paid. And now they send this buck-toothed loser to tell me, we can't afford it. We need to take away grandma's Social Security.
Denmark, the so-called socialist model, is returning the responsibility for retirement savings back to its citizens.
What a slimy fucking git. Holy shit. I hate this guy. Returning the responsibility for retirement savings back to its citizens. Okay, here's an obvious, issue with privately run retirement. What happens if I spend money paying into that over the years and then they go out of business? I can't retire now. If I retire, all that money's fucking gone. At least with a government model, there's going to be some security and this government's probably going to exist 50 years down the road. Hold on. I feel kind of irresponsible if I don't add an addendum to that. I'm leaving some stuff out. In the United States, 401k plan, employer-sponsored pension, blah, blah, blah. Employee funding comes off their paycheck, may be matched by the employer. Right? Okay. Let's not get too bogged down in the details.
And what about healthcare? Free, right? Nothing is free.
That argument right there, we could throw this guy out with the trash. Easy clap. We got him, boys. Get him out of my house. Get out of my studio. Motherfucker's actually sitting here and going, you want free healthcare, but actually nothing is free. No shit. I just want people to not die because they can't afford their medication. It's a bare minimum of a bar to meet. And even you know this.
Danes pay for their healthcare through their high taxes. Private healthcare insurance is available, however. It's becoming more and more popular as long wait times associated with government-run medical care becomes less and less popular.
Yeah, more popular for people who can afford it, maybe. I remember reading some research on this, comparing countries. In the United States, I guess our government-run healthcare is the VA, and waiting times at the VA are not really any different than the rest of, other hospitals everywhere else. Also, the satisfaction rate of the VA is either comparable or better than other standard hospitals. If the private stuff is new and it's well, we don't let poor people come in, I guess that makes sense that, times might be a little better if you just don't give poor people medical care, huh?
But in a welfare state, education is free, right?
This guy really made this video hoping it would get viewed by middle schoolers, didn't he?
Well, that's another thing about free. It doesn't mean ideal.
Oh. What is this? Oh, broken down public school.
Oh, we can't afford to pay someone to clean up the trash. We got broken windows and graffiti.
1 in 5 parents in Denmark chooses to send his or her children to private schools, paying part of the bill themselves.
Where your kids don't have to interact with black kids, right? That's the goal. That's the dream.
Yes, college is free.
Oh. Wait, I thought you just said nothing is free.
Even includes a living allowance. But there's a growing problem of getting students to graduate.
Is there one? I'd have
We
doubts.
wish to stay students and be supported by the state. One of those
Okay, yeah. Welfare queens driving black Cadillacs, right?
welfare state problems socialists don't like to talk about.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
And again, all this free stuff comes with a price.
Well, yeah, you have more people graduate from college. Your country's going to do better economically because you produce more people with higher education who are going to work higher paying jobs who are going to pay more in taxes. Easy.
The average Dane pays 50% of his income in consumption and income taxes. That's right, I said 50%,
I have doubts about that.
while earning 15% less than the average American.
But that's not true. We just went over that. Oh, hi. Hold up. Turns out I got the numbers wrong on stream. So this is partly my fault, partly the fault of PragerU for not using a coherent source. Now, this article is not up to date. Scrolling down to median equivalent adult income. Yes, the United States is ranked number 4, while Denmark is number 12. Ranking by household income, Denmark is ever so slightly above the United States. When we go to the facts and sources page on their website, we find something a little interesting.
While earning 15% less than the average American.
So first off, this is not given in any of these sources here. The closest we get down here, the very bottom, while Americans enjoy 20% more GDP per capita. That's a very different claim. We'll edit this down and it'll look good. Me, you, and Jeff Bezos are sitting in a room. So between the three of us, the average income is what? $5 billion. Because average is you add them all up and then divide it by the total number. And his income is massive. You want the median. You want the person right in the middle. It's generally a better indicator of where the middle of people are at. You learn this like in the first week of taking a statistics class? You're not going to learn that from PragerU.
After taxes, an average American has a 27% higher disposable income than a Dane.
Notice again, he's using the word average, not median, because that don't apply to you, does it? How much disposable income do you have? Probably not a lot, do you?
Well, that's why we're using the average and not the median.
Don't get me wrong. Grey winters
Oh, I've got you right, all right.
aside, Denmark has much to recommend it. It's just that being a socialist paradise isn't one of them.
I'm going to prove to you that Denmark is not a socialist paradise by using bad statistics.
I'm Otto Brons Petersen, economist for the Center of Political Studies in Copenhagen, Denmark, for PRAGERU University.
You know, you could probably get a refund on your degree. Oh, wait, that's right. You didn't pay anything for your degree because it's free in Denmark.
Thank you for watching this video. To help keep PRAGERU videos free, please consider making a tax-deductible donation.
Don't do that. Oh my god.
Excuse me, conservative Otto. I can't help but notice you say to help keep Prager videos free, yet in the same video you said nothing is truly free. Very curious.
Okay. Woo. PragerU, more like Prager boring. I'm going to give a special thanks to the January patrons: Dios, Elsie Hupp, George, Jari Pulamo, Laura Day, Megan Squires, Mellow Cheddar, Schwartz, and Zylorp on Bandcamp. This PragerU video was kind of boring. I know I already said that, but I don't really have anything else to say. So go watch another video. What are you doing waiting here? Go on. Click something. Get out of here. There's nothing left to see here. Go.